welcome back to the channel. In case we haven't met, my name is Taylor and I am a web and graphic designer sharing tips on creating mindfully and living intentionally. I want to start this video by saying my heart goes out to the people and the situation in Ukraine. I know times are extremely tense right now with the fighting going on over there, as well as COVID. I can't imagine what you're going through, so to anyone affected by the situation, I will be praying for you. On a lighter note, while we are on the subject of situational awareness, I wanted to talk today about how you can become more aware of your body's natural clock and how you can best create a routine that fits you. Before we begin, let's define what a night owl is. In short, a night owl means your energy is higher at night than earlier in the day. This is based on your chronotype, which is what your body's clock follows for energy levels, sleeping schedules, etc. If you want a better explanation of this, there is a video by Alexis Kingsley where she deep dives into the energy times and types and so on. There is also an article by the Sleep Foundation where they talk more in depth about chronotypes. I will leave a link in the description below for both so that way you can pick which one is best suited for your learning style. So what has my experience been like as a night owl? Although I've gotten better at it, something I still struggle with is revenge bedtime procrastination, or RBP for short. In case you aren't familiar with the term, RBP is where you stay up later than you want in order to do more things you want at night because you couldn't do it earlier in the day. Because I don't live alone and I live in an unpredictable environment, my motivation and even ability to do things earlier in the day was pretty much non-existent. So overall, I did not have a healthy relationship with my productivity. And I think that was one of the big overarching reasons that I could not focus and really get done what I needed to. So I wanted to share with you all what's been working for me so far that allows me to be productive and get stuff done, but also take care of myself spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically. The first tip is to get into the mindset. I first want to congratulate you for clicking on this video because it means you're taking a step in the direction of embracing yourself as a night owl. If you're like me, you're probably someone who has had to deal with a lot of judgment from people saying things like, you stay up too late, that's not healthy, or what I consider to be the worst, you're being lazy because everyone else is awake while you're asleep. And it doesn't help that there was always content promoting and pushing that the only way to be successful is by waking up earlier in the day. Let me tell you that that is low-key toxic behavior, and all it does is make you feel insecure about yourself. And the goal here is to create an environment of self-love and appreciation so that way you can feel confident when using your brain to create and do the things that you love. In order to mentally prepare yourself for this commitment, ask yourself questions like, am I willing to change some things around in order to maximize when my brain is at its highest levels? Am I ready to put hard work into creating a system now that will make my life easier later? Can I set tough yet flexible boundaries with myself in order to achieve this? Anytime you make a routine, whether that's morning, night, weekend, you have to do some reflection on what's working for you and what's not working for you. So that way you can be intentional going forward about whatever foundation you want to set for yourself. With this mindset of purpose, the first tip is to create a schedule. There are so many assumptions that being a night owl means you wake up whenever and you go to sleep whenever. But if you're really trying to be productive and intentional about how you use your time and making sure that you're taking care of your health, you have to be consistent with your hours. You have to consider what time you naturally wake up and go to sleep, aiming for 8 hours, of course. If you have obligations throughout the day and what they are, times that you could take naps or relax, When you want to eat lunch, dinner, snacks, etc., you want a schedule that takes into consideration your life as a whole and who you are as a person. So that way you can be balanced and not just solely focusing on work and sleep. My schedule is based on two things: when my brain is the most active and when I have the best environment to work. It looks like this. I usually go to bed at 4 a.m. and wake up at noon. Sometimes I do wake up earlier in the morning for other obligations, but then I go back to sleep when I get a chance so I can get my rest. The first hour of my day is low energy tasks like responding to emails, looking at my schedule for the day, or adding to-dos. I start getting energy around 5 to 6 p.m., so I use this time to get inspired, whether it's Pinterest, YouTube, or some other platform. The last 2 hours of my day I spend on myself. From 2 to 3 a.m., I'm usually relaxing and winding down. This could be a cup of tea, cozying up with my favorite blanket, watching indie games, whatever helps my brain calm down for the night. And then from 3 to 4, I'm getting ready for bed with a simple skincare routine and just making sure my desk is tidy before the morning. I am including a Notion template below if you all need some guiding questions on how to create a schedule like mine, and it will also pull from the other tips that I mentioned in this video. The energy spike that I mentioned between 5 to 6 p.m. brings me to my next tip. Have a specific place to brain dump all your thoughts, feelings, ideas, to-dos, schedules, anything you can think of. No matter what time of the night you start getting a surge of creativity and inspiration, you need to have something in place to capture all of those ideas so they don't get lost. Some of you may have heard of this capture tool in David Allen's Getting Things Done system, and this is what I'm referring to. I use the inbox feature in Todoist, but you can create a capture system in any format, such as a notebook, Notion, your phone's notes app, whichever is best for you. I always say, whatever is the first place that comes to mind when you need to write down something, that's what you need to use every single time. You need to train your brain and body to work together, or as I would call, brain-eye coordination. So that way, anytime you have ideas, your brain can hold the idea and your hand can write it down or type it, depending on what you choose. The next tip is to simplify your morning routine. As a night owl, we've already established that you typically won't have as much energy in the morning like other people. So trying to force yourself to do a lot of things immediately when you wake up is probably not the best thing. Instead, do the bare minimum in the morning that gets you out of bed. For me, that looks like cleaning my tongue, grabbing a drink, and sitting at my desk. It doesn't require a lot of energy or brain power, which means I can save that brain power for later when I really get into my creative mode. Tip number 5 is to work based on your mood. This requires paying attention to your mood and your energy. Just because you're a night owl doesn't mean your energy is going to be super high the whole time that you're awake. I was talking to a friend who is also a night owl, and I wanted to get her perspective on this. She said she struggles with finding that balance to be as productive as possible when you've missed out on that earlier in the day. I think the root of this issue is that we feel like time is not on our side as night owls. We feel like we're chasing the day by working at night, which can put us in a bad headspace when we're trying to work and be productive, especially when we've already been told repeatedly by the general public that we are missing out on our days because we choose to work at night instead of earlier in the day like the rest of the population. I feel like that's just another limiting belief that we have to retrain our brains to reject and evolve from. And I feel like creating a schedule like we did earlier is one step closer to being more consistent and training our brain to be more comfortable with working at night. You have to be willing to follow the flow of your feelings and adjust your schedule as the day goes on. It will relieve pressure and allow you to be more efficient while you're working because you're aligning your energy with your priorities instead of forcing your priorities at times not best suited for your energy. You can take this step further by tracking your moods, which is what I do. You can do this in Notion or another mood tracking app. Whatever method you choose, try to be as mindful as possible about how you're feeling so you can do your best work as quickly as possible and free up some mental space to focus on other things. Speaking of work, the next tip is to time block based on your overall mindset focus instead of scheduling tasks individually. For example, one of my daily focuses in my Google Calendar is Finance Friday. I already know the first few hours of my day are going to be dedicated to reviewing my spending. Grouping your tasks together means you'll have a higher chance of getting it done because you're already thinking about that topic, so working on those other tasks will come naturally. Tip number 7 is to make yourself comfortable. One thing that I do consistently is use dark mode on all of my devices and apps. I take it a step further by using a Google Chrome extension called Dark Night Mode. It allows me to turn almost any site I visit into dark mode, but I can also whitelist sites that already have a dark mode, like Notion or YouTube. You can also set the mood with music, so this could be a go-to song or music playlist you use to stay focused, or it could be a show or podcast to give you some background noise. You can also use some nice and cozy ambient lighting, which is what I do with my salt lamp all the time. You guys probably see it in every video. The last tip, and arguably most important one, is to create a productive environment. If you follow all of the previous tips but don't have a way to stay focused, this system may not work for you. When I say productive environment, I mean training your brain to be comfortable with working. It could be keeping your to-do list easily accessible, making sure you have a cup of water nearby so you don't think about getting water the whole time you're sitting down, or using split screen so you can easily reference information while you're working. If you don't keep little things like this in mind, they can stack up and create a lot of subconscious stress, which prevents or really limits your brain from fully being there while you're trying to think and create and be productive. One thing that I struggle with the most is actually the complete opposite, and that is overworking and over creativity. I would say on average I have about 1,000 ideas per minute, and because of that I find myself either getting tunnel vision about one task and not wanting to rest until it's done, or switching between multiple tasks because I don't know which one I want to do first. The solution I've found for this is a productivity app called Forest. Okay, quick water break because I've been doing a lot of talking. I've shown this app before in my What's on My iPhone tour. I will leave it linked here, but I love this app and I use it every single day. All in all, I believe choosing something that figuratively stays up with you helps your brain stay on track so you can go to bed knowing you did everything you needed to. Alright everyone, this concludes my video on my night owl routine and some tips to help you create your own. I will leave all the timestamps in the description so you can jump around to whatever section you need to. My last words of wisdom to you are don't beat yourself up because you couldn't get everything done like you planned. Figuring out a proper routine and schedule that's best for you can be difficult because it takes a lot of self-discovery, and then you have to find a way to maintain it. Be patient with yourself while you learn your body's love language and learn how to communicate back. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope it added some value to your life, and I will see you all next time. Much love.